Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine stepping right into a historical painting. You've got this sun setting over a really vivid landscape, almost theatrical, and three figures emerge, each one just packed with hidden tension, hidden identity.
Hmm.
So our mission today is to dive into Zulmiera, the half-Carib girl, a legend of the Savannah. This excerpt, it gives us this fascinating, almost cinematic glimpse into 17th century Antigua.
It really does.
We're going to try and pull out the key bits from its intricate descriptions, the simmering feelings, the resentments, and the surprising personal and political stakes that are all woven into this, pretty potent narrative, all through the eyes of these three very distinct characters.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how much the author manages to convey about the characters and their world. It's not just what they say or do,
Yes,
right?
not all.
It's every single detail.
Yeah.
From the specific fabrics they wear to, the way the landscape itself is described. It immediately sets this tone of maybe impending transition, perhaps even conflict.
It certainly does. The scene opens, sun rapidly sinking, casting this richer tone of color as these three people emerge from a small shrubbery, and they stop right on the brow of a shelving hill.
Yeah.
It feels less like just a setting and more like it's a stage being lit for drama.
Precisely. That dramatic lighting, that pause,
Yeah.
it highlights the characters before they even say a word, doesn't it? Gives them this sense of weight, of importance.
And leading this trio is the governor. He's described as verging upon the mellow age of 50, but still got a stalwart frame and eagle eye. Clearly a man still very much in his prime.
But the author immediately complicates that image. We're told he has this supercilious curl of his upper lip and an expression of scornful indifference in his dark hazel eye. It's a masterful way to introduce him, really. Handsome, yes, but those immediate counterpoints, the scorn, the brow furrowed by deep lines and compressed by slumbering passions, it tells you this is a man whose power might be rooted in arrogance or maybe even suppressed violence.
Yeah, but definitely foreshadowing his temper.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's that really jarring detail. A deep and unsightly scar. A saber cut, it says, from his right ear right across his jaw, injuring his looks even further. What does that scar immediately tell you about him?
Well, that scar isn't just physical, is it? It's a direct link to his past. It signals a life of conflict, of battle.
Right.
And when you learn he's the friend of Cromwell, the Roundhead governor of Antigua, well, that scar becomes this visceral symbol. It connects directly to the turbulent politics of 17th century England and its colonies, where Puritanism and military power were often intertwined.
And his clothes reinforce that, too.
Absolutely. A complete suit of black velvet of the richest texture, diamond clasps, knee buckles, fine lawn collar, and that black-sheathed Andrea Ferrara sword.
An Andrea Ferrara, that's a specific kind of broadsword, isn't it? Known for quality military use.
Yes, exactly. Another precise detail. It cements his identity as a man of action, of authority, and his steeple-crowned hat, peculiar to his sect and times. Well, that just nails his Puritan allegiance.
Okay, so in stark contrast to this stern, battle-scarred governor, you have Bridget, his daughter, beautiful, scarcely 17, presented as the absolute ideal of Puritan innocence and beauty.
She truly is. The author paints her as the personification of extreme loveliness, an ethereal tint to her skin, fair, not pale, soft, lovely eyes of the clearest hazel. But it's not just physical beauty. No, the description emphasizes her inner sweetness, her mildness, gives the impression of an embodied self.
Right. And even her clothes, the Puritan-approved stuff, dove-colored satin dress, pearl girdle, stiff Puritan ruff, a carcanet of her favorite gems, it all points to that ideal.
Yes, a carcanet, like a jeweled necklace. But what's really insightful, I think, is her wimple. It's tied under her little rounded chin, but it's unfastened because of her joyousness.
Okay.
It's subtle, but it's significant. It hints at a spirit maybe not totally constrained by strict Puritanism, suggests a more open nature, perhaps even vulnerable.
Then we meet Zulmiera, standing a few paces behind Bridget to mark the difference in their rank. But despite that position, her presence is immediate, powerful, a lofty and commanding figure, clear olive tinge of her complexion, large black eye which sparkled with dazzling light, long coal black hair braided and twined round and round her head.
And the author immediately throws in this fascinating contradiction, doesn't he? Servant-slave as she was, she looked born to command. Her symmetrical proportions, her rounded arm and taper fingers described as perfect. It just sets up this profound tension between her inherent dignity and her imposed social status.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Her background, it's deeply steeped in colonial history, in conflict. Her mother was a beautiful Carib woman, part of that disgraceful partition of them among the English after the St. Kitts massacre, under Sir Thomas Warner.
A horrific piece of history.
Yeah. Her mother, Zamba, became the share of a young Englishman in Antigua, bore Zulmiera, then died. So Zulmiera is quite literally a product of this violent colonial past.
That's such a crucial detail. She was raised in the governor's family, and after Antigua was reduced by Sir George Askew and the Republican government was set up, Bridget, apparently charmed with the untutored graces of the beautiful Indian maiden, insisted Zulmiera become her companion.
But this didn't sit well with the governor.
No, not at all.
Being violently attached to Cromwell, he distrusted Zulmiera. Why? Because she was nurtured in their principles, royalist principles. He found her too haughty, too high-minded, forgetting her real rank as a servant, acting like she was Bridget's equal, if not her superior.
And this raises such an important question, doesn't it? How much of what we read about historical figures, especially from marginalized communities, how much is shaped by the perspective of the dominant power? Zulmiera's internal world, her sense of self, clearly clashes with the governor's view of her rank.
Absolutely, because she looked upon herself as the descendant, on her mother's side, of a long line of chiefs, of those who had once been rulers in the land. So naturally, there was this mutual dislike between them.
Right, a fundamental clash of perspectives.
And yet, despite all this, she loved Bridget with this intensity of fervor, ready to shed for her heart's best blood. It's clear that for Zulmiera, love and hatred were all-absorbing passions.
Intense.
And the author drops a hint, too, that there's another who held the first place in Zulmiera's heart, her idol god.
So just from these three descriptions, we already have layers building up, political, social, and deeply personal tensions within this tiny group.
Exactly. And as they pause there, they look out at the landscape. There's a slope planted with tobacco, broad green leaves, delicate trumpet flowers attracting numerous gorgeous insects. Beyond that, a wild copse, then the waters of a beautiful creek, Memora's Creek, glittering like gold in the sunset.
And further off, undulating hills with an infant plantation, and then the broad ocean stretching out, its waves fretted by shelving rocks, making an angry roar in one spot. It's beautiful, yes, but also kind of wild, untamed, mirroring maybe the untamed passions of the characters.
Good point. At the bottom of their hill runs this bridle path. It branches off towards the populous town of Falmouth and a beautiful harbor, which we now know as English Harbor. And along this path, a single horseman was seen slowly advancing.
The arrival of this new figure. It's meticulously framed. It draws your eye just as the narrative draws our attention.
It really does. As the horseman gets near the hill, he reined up his prancing steed, looks towards the party, raised his plumed hat, and bent forward in graceful obeisance. And here's where the unspoken drama really unfolds.
Zulmiera's dark eyes sparkled with delight, and unseen by the others, she raised her hand and waved a return. An immediate, powerful reaction. Very telling.
While at the exact same moment, the rosiest blush sprang to the cheeks of Bridget and crimsoned her very throat. Whoa. The horseman bows again, then gallops off.
That fleeting exchange.
Yeah. These two very strong, very different reactions to what seems like a simple gesture. It clearly hints at connections the governor might not approve of at all.
Indeed. For Zulmiera, it seems to confirm the presence of this idol god she cherishes.
Right.
And for Bridget, it reveals this clandestine affection. That blush betrays an inner feeling she might be trying to hide.
And the governor, he follows the stranger with his eye, then immediately turns to Bridget. "Steady, penetrating glance," exclaims Huh. Then the young malignant's designs appear to be more open than they were.
Malignant, strong word.
Oh, yeah. And then he delivers this truly chilling threat to Bridget. His eye gets sterner and darker, his lip curls with increased scorn. He warns her he would rather slay thee himself, as Jephthah slew his daughter, he says, than see her mated with one of his malignant race.
Wow. That's incredibly violent and possessive, isn't it? Jephthah's vow in the Old Testament. I mean, it led him to sacrifice his own daughter.
Yeah.
A tragic example of a vow taken too far.
Exactly.
So the governor invoking that, it shows the depth of his hatred, his authoritarian nature, and how deeply he ties personal relationships to political loyalty.
Bridget, understandably agitated and frightened, throws herself on her father's chest, denies it, says Ralph de Merfield is not to me, and insists he only speaks with studied politeness, that he shuns rather than seeks my presence.
But the governor is clearly not buying it. He confirms his suspicions, then launches into this passionate explanation of why he hates Ralph de Mirfield so much.
And it goes way back.
Oh, yeah. He reveals Ralphie's father was my neighbor and my deadliest foe, and what was more, the foe of Cromwell.
He accuses Ralphie's father of helping that tyrannical man Charles Stuart in his escape from Hampton Court, aiding his struggles, even beggared his brother for Stuart's nefarious designs. And here's where the personal grudge comes back to his star.
Ah, the connection.
The governor claims Ralphie's father gave him this ugly sign of recognition, that scar at the Battle of Naseby.
It's such a powerful detail. It really grounds this fictional story in historical reality. The English Civil War, Cromwell's parliamentarians versus the royalists. It's all right there. So the governor sees Ralphie not just as a personal enemy's son, but as a symbolic threat to the Commonwealth itself. He even boasts, as David girded up his strength, so my trusty weapon stretched the haughty Philistine upon the ground, never to rise again.
Chilling boast.
It's more than just personal revenge. It's deep political and ideological hatred.
And his disgust for Ralphie himself continues. Calls him a cavalier who had sucked in with his very milk the taint of papistry. Says he was reared by that Babylonish woman whom men call the Queen of England, taught all her sorceries. He even regrets Cromwell didn't crush the egg before it was hatched.
It's absolute venom, extending from father to son, from politics to religion, just total scorn.
And then he reveals his, well, truly sinister plan for Ralphie. He says he's received dispatches. Cromwell intends to send a squadron against St. Domingo in a few months, needs a local troop. The governor's resolution: Master Ralph of Merrifield be one of the gallants who shall serve in that affair.
So he's planning to send him into danger.
Exactly. He's hoping a goodly bullet shot or a well-applied stroke from the rapier of a Spaniard may relieve me from his machinations. Basically hoping Ralphie gets killed in action.
Wow.
And if Ralphie refuses to fight for the Commonwealth, he'll be properly secured because of his father's malignancy to prevent another revolt. So the governor isn't just seeking personal revenge, he's actively weaponizing state power to get rid of a perceived threat.
It's a really stark reminder, isn't it?
Yeah.
How personal vendettas could just intertwine so easily with national policy back then, in that turbulent time.
Now, while Bridget is openly upset and pleading, Zulmiera's reaction to all this, it's internal and violently suppressed. Hate, scorn, and revenge fired her eye and sent a torrent of hot blood, which, rushing to her face, turned the clear olive to a fiery crimson. This whole exchange clearly cements Ralph as her lover, her idol god.
But despite this intense turmoil, she's so practiced at mastering her feelings. She stands there, apparently calm, hands folded across her breast, only her eye more dilated, and her cheeks slightly tinged give anything away.
It's an incredible moment of contained fury, like a hidden volcano just waiting.
Absolutely. That control is almost terrifying in itself.
Then the governor, intently gazing in one direction, exclaims, drawing Bridget's attention. She looks, calmly observes nothing but the bland zephyr. But he just dismisses her. Foolish enthusiast.
Dismissive.
Totally. Then he demands the wondrous instrument the Lord General gave me, a newly invented telescope. Some attribute it to James I or even Roger Bacon way back when. He suspects wild Indians and their deeds.
How ironic. He's looking for danger far off, specifically from indigenous people. But his fancy instrument can't possibly reveal the real, much closer danger brewing right next to him.
In Zulmiera.
Exactly. Roused by his remarks about Indians, Zulmiera starts forward, tries to stifle her agitated voice, reassures him, "Oh no, your excellency, not as there says, the whispering wind or the fly-bird."
Trying to deflect.
The governor just furiously retorts, "Back, girl! Who taught thee to hazard thy remarks? Methinks thy cavalier masters might have made thee know thy station better." Oof. That's a direct hit. A direct challenge to her suppressed identity, her lineage, her perceived place. He's trying to put her back in her box.
And this is the critical moment. Again, the blood rushed to the cheek and temples. Again, the eye flashed fire. But again, she mastered her emotions. But then she exclaims, but in a voice too quiet for him to hear, "Rest till tomorrow's night, proud man. Then wilt thou learn who governs here."
Wow.
Wow, indeed. That's an incredible unvoiced declaration of power. It's like watching that volcano about to erupt, but all contained inside her, waiting for the perfect moment.
It really raises that question again, doesn't it? When society tries to enforce silence, how do individuals, especially those with such a strong sense of their own lineage and worth, find ways to assert their will?
Yeah.
Her unvoiced threat.
It's far more potent than any open defiance could be right then. It's a promise of future action, a claim to power that the governor at this moment He can't even perceive it. Bridget then hands the telescope to her father. He scans the landscape, sees nothing, just wavy green or the wing of a weary seafowl. The sun has set, and the trio disappears back into the shrubbery.
Leaving us with that chilling, unspoken threat just hanging in the air. What happens tomorrow night?
Exactly. This deep dive, it's really highlighted how much drama, how much depth can be packed into just a few pages. It leaves you totally on the edge of your seat for what happens next. We've seen these meticulously detailed characters, the charged atmosphere of the Savannah, and how personal vendettas just intertwine so dramatically with the huge political movements of Cromwell's era. And those powerful unspoken declarations, they really set the stage for conflict.
This story really underscores, I think, that sometimes the most dangerous forces aren't the ones you can see with the telescope, or even the declared enemies you face in battle. They're the ones simmering unacknowledged right beside you. That makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world where status, political loyalty, ancestry, where all that dictates so much, how do the desires and wills of individuals, especially those seen as other or lower, how do they truly shape events?
Yeah.
What does it really mean for who governs here when the true power lies hidden just beneath the surface, waiting for its moment to erupt?